The Costa Blanca is one of Spain's most popular tourist destinations, with over 200 kilometres of beautiful Mediterranean coastline. Today I'm at Alicante Airport, which is the main gateway to the region, and I'm about to take a flight with Ryanair to Birmingham. Why not join me? Welcome to Blake Edgington Airborne. So as usual, halfway through the flight now, it's time to give you a quick tour of the economy seat on board this Ryanair Boeing 737-800. Let's take a look. Now this is one of Ryanair's newer style of seats on board their 737, but as with all their aircraft, the safety card, as you can see, is actually fixed to the back of the seat in front of you. The tray table is a fairly generous size. There's certainly space on here for any food or drinks, but as you can see, you can't extend it if you needed to. It does have a small indentation, as you'll see here, for a drink, just in case it gets a little bit bumpy on your journey. Now, one feature of a Ryanair seat is the fact that there's sadly no seat back pocket, so no storage available to you. Do make sure you keep all your personal belongings in your bag, perhaps under the seat in front. And speaking of, towards the bottom of the seat, there's plenty of legroom. I find Ryanair seat pitch is pretty generous for a low fares carrier.
Ryanair. Last year, over 90% of our flights arrived on time.
Okay, so we're now back in Birmingham after our flight from Alicante with Ryanair, and I thought I'd share with you my final thoughts as always. Getting to the pros, first of all, there's some features of Alicante Airport that I really like that I want to touch on today. Number one is the fact they had some charging outlets and seating around the terminal so you can keep your portable electronic devices fully charged. Really, really nice touch. Also, there were some really nice food outlets and also some shopping as well, with lots of places to pop your bags, have a sit down and take the load off if you're there for a couple of hours. So overall, it's quite a comfortable place to be. Secondly, the aircraft today was a 737-800 with a lovely Boeing Sky interior. I'm a big fan of that interior on the aircraft. And the seats themselves on board the 737 were very comfortable. There's a decent amount of legroom today. Then we get to the negatives. Number one, I'd have to say, is the boarding process with Ryanair. I've mentioned it in a video on this channel before. Today, they called the flight literally before the aircraft had even landed. I was tracking it on my app. It was 10 minutes away and they called the flight and had people queuing in the air bridge. It's just not a nice thing to do. Secondly, I'd have to mention, unfortunately, as you know, I always watch the crew on board flights, being former crew myself, and the crew did let themselves down in one area today. There was an issue with a passenger's bag on board. They were seated in an emergency exit row, so their luggage should have gone in the overhead locker. However, the crew didn't spot this until we were taxiing. One member of the crew said, just pop it behind the seat behind you, just stick it behind the barrier, so the passenger did this. Then another member of the crew came across and took exception to this, and in front of the whole cabin, pointed out they should have popped it in the overhead locker. Now, when the passenger said, I can't do this now, the seatbelt signs are on and we're taxiing, the crew member muttered under her breath. it just wasn't good. This passenger was visibly upset by the whole situation. They should have dealt with this properly earlier and communicated between themselves. So unfortunately, it was a bit of a negative against the crew today. Overall though, I had a really nice time on Ryanair. The one thing I always say about them is do know what you're letting yourself in for. They are basically a low fares bus service, but if you understand that before getting on board, you'll have a nice time as I did today. As always, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. It does mean the world to me. Please do share your thoughts with me in the comment section. Also do subscribe and like this channel. It makes all the difference. And most of all, take care.